but I'll record the first one. Yes, so sorry for this long start. Usually the students join the team at the very last moment. So we have already had this introduction. And I would like to start today's lecture with two questions to you. By the way, I ask you to engage in some discussions with me, maybe ask questions in the chat, or sometimes when I ask you to use your voice, please do that and share your opinion with me. So I have prepared two questions for you for a start. Please scan the QR code, or if you're not able to do that, go to menti.com and use the code and answer the first question. So we start the course in general marketing, and I know that some of you already have some experience. Some of you maybe have some business ideas in mind, or maybe some small hobby or business even that they wish to develop. So the first question is, what do you think marketing is all about? So please give me your ideas. Okay, so please continue giving your ideas if you have not yet done that. So indeed, very often, I mean, and if you ask anybody in the street what marketing is about, they will probably answer you that it's promotion, it's advertising, it's maybe the idea of pushing your offering, your product or service to the consumer. But there are a lot of other ideas, right, that are associated with it. And indeed, promotion, as we will see it in the course, is only one actually tactical aspect that marketers should take care about. But in general, it's more about managerial decisions, right? And about integrating marketing ideas into the whole business, like into different business processes, and not only focusing on promotion. I see some other ideas such as sales, selling, which is also part of this promotional mix, right? One of the, sales promotion being one of the aspects of promotion in general, personal selling, for instance. I see some ideas about analysis of the market, analysis of customers, demand analysis, right? So as you can see it, analytics is quite important. We will also try to see into that in this course. Okay, branding, right? So building a strong brand with a clear brand image that brings value to the consumers is highly important, right? Because if you do not have a strong brand, if your idea about the brand of your product is not clear, what are you going to transmit? What are you going to promote? And whether those investments that you make in the promotion will be effective and reasonable if you do not have a clear brand, distinctive brand that differentiates you from competitors, for instance. Campaigns, attracting attention. So it's a lot of similar ideas about promotion, analysis. I also see here something related to creativity, originality. PR is also one of the elements of promotion, right? Finding target audience, great idea regarding target audience. So we should understand clearly who are we trying to affect with our marketing efforts, right? So these ideas are strategic. We should decide upon our target audience and then think about promotion, how we're going to communicate with them. And nowadays, even more often, we use the word communication rather than promotion, right? Thank you. And the second question. What do you expect from the course? Any particular topic area that you would like to learn? Okay, so many students expect knowledge and practice. And we will try to give you that together with my colleague. Interesting cases, yes, I also promise you to use various short and long cases. During the seminars, you're going to discuss cases from various industries relating to various matters and aspects of marketing. Group projects, yes, real examples. I like the ideas here. How to sell a pen, how to, I lost it. How to, well, use marketing for, how to start your own brand. Marks, excellent. I hope that all your marks will be excellent. Okay, SMM. We will pay some attention in the second half of the course to social media. Planning. Okay, great. Thank you very much. Managerial skills. Okay. Thank you very much. Now I will tell you a little bit more about the course, the structure of the course, the assessment elements, and then we will pass on to a largely introductory topic of today. We will talk a little bit about the history of marketing, and we will talk a little bit about some challenges relating to marketing profession today, and we will see some short cases, short examples. So concerning the lectures, we're going to meet seven times this quarter, 7 times next quarter. You will roughly have one lecture per week, one seminar per week as well. The main aim is to give you a broad overview of the marketing discipline, right? Because you're only second-year students, and throughout your studies, you will have an opportunity to take some electives, for instance, that are focused on some particular areas of marketing, for instance, a course in consumer behavior, or a course in international marketing, or in marketing analytics. So this is a starting point, a starting platform, and we will try to cover the basic concepts, the basic ideas from traditional marketing, from digital marketing, and if we have enough time, also from international marketing. We will focus on developing your understanding of how to come from a marketing-related problem to a solution that may help you to solve the problem, to address this problem, and what instruments you can use to solve this problem, and how to measure your success, right? So how you are going to measure whether you have solved this problem or not. We will focus a lot on marketing planning. You will have a group project related to creation of marketing plan. I'm going to talk a little bit later. We will give you some instruments that you may use, not only digital, also offline instruments that you may use to fulfill various marketing related tasks. So here is a brief overview of the topics. So as I have mentioned today, we start with some, let's say, discussion and some plunging into the history of marketing. Then we're going to focus on the marketing planning model called the SOSTAC model. So how you can develop a marketing plan for a particular organization, for a particular brand. And we will start with the situation analysis next time. Then we are going to focus on the STP process, the so-called STP process. So how to do the segmentation and targeting, and how to create effective positioning for the target markets. We will focus on the topic of branding. So what is a brand and what elements constitute a brand? We will see into different examples and cases here as well. And then we will pass on to the very famous concept of the marketing mix. And promotion is, the core concepts that you have pointed out in the word cloud. So promotion is only one of the aspects of this marketing mix, and we're going to talk about that as well. We will learn various digital marketing tools, talk about, we will see how the time permits, how many various aspects and tools of digital marketing we manage to cover. And cover very, very superficially the idea of marketing research and its importance for decision-making in marketing, and try to cover some aspects of international marketing, this general idea of international marketing and what determines the differences in the marketing strategies of global brands in various countries, and how to enter new markets, what strategies may be used. You will have to fulfill the following assessment elements. So the classwork and homework activities will be evaluated. As I have mentioned earlier, you will have a lot of case studies, some exercises, problem-solving exercises. You will have 3 short quizzes throughout the semester, the 3rd and 4th module. Obviously, all those assessments will be done at the seminars, not at the lectures. But to a large degree, the content of, well, for instance, short quizzes and of the exam will be based on the lectures materials. Because, yeah, seminars are often focused on practical aspects and practicing some ideas that we have covered in class. You will have 1 reading test. So once we will assign you some home reading, so some scientific sources in marketing. Well, they're not like really that much scientific or hard to interpret and digest. They will be practice-oriented as well, but still you will read some sources and will have a test once based on these materials. Important aspect of your work in this course is the development of the marketing plan. So for this project, you will need to find partners, collaborators within your study group. You will work in groups of 5 or 6 students. Alexandra Alexeyevna will give you more information for each study group, depending on the number of students in the group. So you will need to choose a real-life organization. So not necessarily a consumer brand. It may be some, it may be some association or some event or some service organization. The organization that interests you, and develop a marketing plan for this organization with accordance to the structure that we give you during lectures and seminars. And we strongly recommend you, so you may already start thinking about the company that you would like to work on. We strongly recommend you to take not like a global brand, but maybe some small or medium-sized enterprise that possibly operates in St. Petersburg, and try to find out a problem for this organization, marketing-related problem, and develop a marketing plan for this organization. Because we do not recommend you to take some world-known brands, I don't know, like McDonald's or Tesla or whatever, or Starbucks, right? Because it's hard to invent really something new, something fresh, something that is valuable, and something that will bring you experience if you take such a global brand. It will be much more useful if you focus on some localized brand. Maybe you even have some contact with this brand and try to make this marketing plan report, marketing plan project as useful to you and to your organization as possible. So, and the examination will consist of a written test, right? So, of various types of questions. So here is the formula. You obviously may find the program syllabus on LMS or on the corporate website. It's important, all students, many students ask about this automatic mark, so the opportunity not to take the final exam if they have good participation throughout the course. So we also give you this opportunity starting from 8.0 and higher. So if you have, as a result of your work in the course, for all those elements apart from the examination, the mark 8.8 and higher, so not rounded, right? You will have the right to skip the exam and have this mark as the final one for the course. So, for instance, if you have 7.57 or 7.7 and so on, you do not get this right. So you will need to pass the exam or you will get a 0 for it. Is everything clear concerning the elements of assessment?
Yes, it's clear.
All right. Okay, let's now talk briefly about the origin of marketing, a little bit about the history of marketing. We will not dive deeply. We will not talk that much about historical aspects, but still, I think it's important for you to understand this development of the ideas that guide guided businesses in general and marketing specialists in particular. So when do you think marketing originated?
Like the country?
When?
When?
Maybe when marketing economy appears.
Maybe in ancient times, because our, how to say, предки in English, for example, if one of them wanted to sell the stone, he must to deliver the value of the stone to sell. Delivering the value is marketing.
Okay.
Yeah, in that or another form, I guess the marketing should have emerged at the same time when people started to make some kind of economy, so sell things.
I guess it started when the competition between countries, like economic competition started, like 18th or 19th century, maybe.
Thank you very much. I should say that all of your ideas are correct. And actually, when we're going to discuss with you some issues, there are seldom strictly right or strictly wrong answers. Marketing, because marketing is a lot about, testing, about this link with the target market, and some solutions may not be effective in this particular time, but might be effective even at a different time. So now when you gave your ideas about the origin of marketing, you were all correct and true. First of all, there is no unified agreement, right? No unified idea about the origin of marketing. So some scholars say it originated indeed in ancient times, in antiquity, for instance, in ancient Greece, in ancient Rome, or even earlier. And some of you have indeed mentioned this example about the stone, right? I'm not sure if there was a need to sell a stone, but you are definitely right with this simplification that marketing is a lot about human interaction. So interaction between various sides in the selling process, between the seller and the buyer, and how to communicate to the buyer that your product is the right one for him or her. So how to create this relationship, or you see here a citation, so network of trust, for instance, between the seller and the buyer, how to make this buyer come back to you, and so on. So indeed, those ideas of marketing, they are as old as humanity, basically. Nowadays, it's also not about the communication between the seller and the buyer, but also between buyers themselves, right? We talk a lot about communities, so some brand communities that are built around a certain brand. We can talk about communities that are built around certain values of consumers, for instance, healthy lifestyle, right? And buyers communicate between themselves. They communicate with the sellers. Also, they communicate with influencers, right? So this chain, this model of communication is quite complicated. So it's not only the seller and the buyer, but still, it's a lot about this satisfaction of human needs, human wishes, pains, and so on. And some of you also have mentioned that marketing has emerged well after the Industrial Revolution. So you mentioned the 18th, 19th century, and many scholars indeed think that, well, actually marketing, which is more resembling the current understanding of marketing as a programmed set of actions with some clear aims and clear tactical elements. It started to emerge basically roughly in the 19th century. And also, if we think about marketing as a discipline, it's basically the beginning of the 20th century, and it was when marketing kind of stepped away from the economics in general, and because the markets were beginning to globalize, the market environment became more complex, and the distribution systems became more complex. And this was the time when the marketing discipline started to emerge. And up until today, we can say that America, so the American scholars are the leading scholars in marketing, and most of the core names that you will encounter on marketing related topics, they're mostly professors from American universities, because this is where the strong and the first school of marketing appeared. But well, obviously there are a lot of European and Asian scholars, but still. the US school is prevailing. And now let's talk a little bit about the so-called business orientations, or some mindsets of businesses that affected the operations of businesses in general, and marketing practices in particular. And again, there is no agreement among the scholars what those business orientations are. And we can say that they are also historical, but actually not to a 100%. So if we again think about the history, so the first orientation that guided businesses when this industrial revolution took place. So in the post-industrial world, when the markets became more complex, when the markets became started to globalize, so most businesses focused on production, so production orientation, meaning that the primary idea was that demand exceeds supply, and for every product that we produce, basically there will be somebody who will need this product. So the companies do not really need to invest in communications, in explaining the benefits of the product that they have, because demand exceeds supply. So basically, the marketing actions, the marketing communications at those times were very limited. They were mainly focused on creating awareness, right? So on creating awareness of consumers that, well, there is this product that you may find useful, and also we care about the price. We try to use the advantages of the economies of scale and offer a product at the lowest price. We can say that this is a historical orientation, but at the same time, they did not disappear, right? And in some industries, for instance, raw materials, right? Those orientations, they may still be useful, right? And they still focus on economies of scale. They still focus on getting the lowest prices possible. But if we talk about consumer brands, consumer companies, it's less typical nowadays. However, still some examples may remain. Another orientation that took place later may be called as selling or sales orientation. And here, the focus was on creating transaction. So creating as many transactions as possible. We want to sell our products. We use aggressive selling. We use those communication means that will be very persuasive, that will help us to sell our products. And that is the core idea, that the company starts with its own needs, right? So the inside-out perspective, meaning that we have produced a certain amount of goods. We now desperately need to avoid overcapacity. We need to sell those goods using any means, any sources, and even no matter that sometimes this transaction may damage us. Do you think this kind of orientation totally disappeared, or do you think we can come across it nowadays.
Maybe it didn't disappear totally, but today we are more customer oriented. Not we, but sellers are more customer oriented because there are huge number of sellers on the market, and there is a strong competition between them. That's why customers don't buy without thinking any kind of product. They compare it to each other. They just compare not only their maybe some parts of the product, but also the awareness of this product, and maybe the brand, compare what they know about it. And that's why we can't say that needs of the seller come first, and that they strongly push their product to be bought, something like this. So maybe in some spheres, like in monopoly, their preferences are more clear, and but not in general.
Thank you very much. Tatiana, what do you mean tea on Nevsky?
I have a very strong association of aggressive selling with tea on Nevsky. When you're just walking around and some people grabs you and they use every method to pursue you that you should buy their tea, and if you refuse, they push you out of the shop, and it looks very негуманно, в общем.
Okay, not customer friendly, we can say. Thank you very much. And yes, we see here on the slide strong transactional focus, right? And if you give this example of Nevsky Prospect, we can expect that, you know, they focus on transactions, right? They do not focus. They do not expect you to come back even. They understand that most of the people will never create any new contact with them in the future. So they might use this, yes, aggressive selling and so on. Thank you very much. So we clearly understand that this is not the logic that dominates most companies nowadays, but still it's present. It's present in some not very well thought and well skilled companies, but in some industries this may be well, more typical, for instance, in the sphere of insurance. So with some products that are not usually looked for by consumers, and that they without some persuasive actions from the company, the consumer will not realize the need for this particular product. So in some spheres, maybe more personal selling, more pushing of products and services is more typical. However, creating long-term relationship is still important. So the overall marketing orientation, and we can say that although the discipline in the marketing discipline originated in the beginning of the 20th century, but indeed the main marketing ideas starting from the marketing mix appeared starting from 1950s, so the second half of the 20th century. And we see here the marketing orientation. And the difference with the selling orientation is that the perspective has different directions. So it's not anymore the inside-out perspective, but the outside-in perspective, meaning that we define the target market. And we try to understand our target market and try to focus not on making transaction, not on not only on making revenues for the company, but first of all on fulfilling the needs, wants of our consumers, and on fitting with the consumer behavior of our target segment. So the idea here is that you try to understand your consumer, and then you try to create something that satisfies the needs of the consumer. However, sometimes you might have the opposite situation when you have a brilliant idea, a brilliant product, and then you try to find the target segment, but still the link here is very close. So even if you have already your product, you still try to define the target segment that has this need, that your product tries to solve the pain of this target market, and then you try to communicate this idea. So, so this is the key understanding of the marketing orientations. So, and the importance of testing, of analysis is very high here. So we will first do some testing whether the target segment will like this product or like this service, and then invest in producing this product, for instance, rather than having produced a large amount of products, creating overcapacity, and then trying to sell it out. Relationship orientation. So it's quite close. It may be considered as one of the focuses of the marketing orientation, but still this idea of creating long-term, long-standing relationship with consumers, opposing the transactional idea, right? So transactional marketing. So this idea of creating long-term relationship with consumers appeared roughly in 1990s. So such ideas as customer relations management, right, CRM, appeared. Investing in customer service, caring about the quality not only of the product but of the experience with the product and with the company in general became in the foreground of many brands. And also such ideas as customization of products and services started to appear in late 1990s. Okay, I wanted to ask some question, but I forgot the question. All right, so this is opposing the other ideas of selling orientation and adding new flavor to the general idea of focusing on target market. So focusing on creating long-term relationship. Why do you think is it important to focus on creating long-term relationships?
Because
Maybe
now
because will attract the same customer several times, and he will
just give more money for your product.
More money. So,
and maybe they will be more loyal to the our company.
Because since there are many different options, there needs to be like a sensation for the customer that he can trust actually the brand. Also, he needs to believe that the brand has some kind of purpose outside of selling him just a product. Like, for example, there are maybe more green aware companies that also have a purpose of helping the environment, so they can choose them based on also that.
Right. So again, all of you are right. So loyal customers will bring more money. Customers who already have experience with the company, they have trust. Well, hopefully, right? If you do everything right, they have trust with your brand. They make their new decisions much easier, right? So we make this job for them, for customers, decision-making job easier. So as I see in the chat, right, we increase the chances of consumers coming back when we invest in this building a long-term relationship. And also, you should not forget about the simple idea that if we count all our expenses, it costs much more to attract new customers rather than to retain old ones, right? So by finding new customers, investing in this kind of promotion, by trying to make customers switch, for instance, from one brand to your brand, you will invest more resources, more financial resources, more time resources, human resources, rather than investing in customer retention. So rather than investing in creating this long-term communication, long-term relationship with customers, and there are various instruments on how to do that. So we can talk about this omni-channel marketing, right? When we create an ecosystem of channels through which we communicate with our consumers. We can think about loyalty programs, right? We can think about content marketing, right? So creating some valuable content apart from your core offering, right, around your product, creating community around your brand. So, well, research says that this is cheaper, but still challenging, but cheaper than attracting each time new consumers. So that's why this relationship orientation, in contrast with transactional marketing, has become a necessity nowadays. And yeah, we're not going to talk about other orientations, but you may find some other ideas in the sources that I have mentioned on the first slide regarding this issue. For instance, societal marketing, that companies should care not only about their own financial results and not even only about customers, but of the society in general, right? And we see more brands having and investing in corporate social responsibility policies and market policies. So some other orientations you may come across. Understanding of the focal points of companies and their focuses in how they operate their businesses. Let's move further. So here is the key definition of marketing. Often when we talk about some definitions in marketing, we follow the definitions suggested by American Marketing Association. As I have already mentioned, the US dominates the marketing thought globally. So what I would like you to focus on in this definition is that, and one of the speakers today, well, one of the students has mentioned this word, value. So throughout our course, I will point out your attention to this word in many instances, right? So we can say that marketing is all about creating value and transmitting it, communicating it to customers and clients, right? This value should also be present not only for the customers and clients, but obviously for the companies. So in financial results, this value should definitely be visible. But when we talk about branding, when we talk about marketing communications, even when we talk about distribution, like making it convenient for consumers to buy a certain product, this is like distribution, right? Or offering different pricing options for the consumer. So not a single price, but having flexible pricing options for consumers. This also brings value, right? And obviously more brands today focus on some human ideas and human values of that are related to spiritual human values of consumers. So this also brings value to customers because they understand that when we buy a certain product, we, for instance, invest in some social actions, or I support certain ideas and values that resonate with me. So marketing is all about creating value for customers and clients, but also when you think about marketing, you should not only focus on this one link with customers and clients, be it companies or individual consumers, but nowadays marketing is a lot about creating and relationships and affecting a wide range of stakeholders, right? So not only direct customers, but partners, right? So for instance, when we talk about public relations, it's a lot about affecting a wide range of stakeholders a brand may have, and impacting society at large. So focus on those two ideas, so value creation and value communication, and a large portfolio of stakeholders that marketing is aimed at. So let's talk a little bit about marketing profession. I like this citation that marketing is a lot about science, and there are no clear do's and don'ts, but marketing is also a lot about art. So, and when you gave those ideas to the word cloud that we created in the beginning of the lecture, you also mentioned decision making, you mentioned analytics, so decision making is based on some results of analysis. And you also mentioned the creative side, right? So art, creativity, finding new, unique, fresh solutions is very important for the success of marketing activities and for the big success of global brands. I have prepared quite a few examples of brands for you to illustrate some issues that I'm trying to discuss with you. So here is the first example. So how creative marketing can be. I'm sure that all of you are familiar with the brand of Absolut. Nowadays, it's a premium brand of spirits, premium vodka brand, but it was not like that several decades ago. It was very generic, very simple, very medium quality, so to say, brand, having rather low selling volumes. And now it is one of the top vodka brands, having strong positioning in the market. And this happened to a great extent thanks to a very talented marketer, French marketer, who is engaged in marketing of wines and spirits, who specialized in that area, Michel Roy. So how they did that? So they invested a lot in changing the brand positioning. They invested in communications to create, to change the positioning of the brand and to create a luxury brand that sets the standards for the industry. They, one of the elements, so this was not the only thing that they did, obviously. It does not happen like that, such outstanding results. But one of the things that they did was that they collaborated closely with outstanding artists, photographers, designers of premium, let's say, premium level, again, to match this new positioning of the Absolut Vodka brand. So they collaborated with them, they commissioned them to create a series of ads that were placed in, for instance, professional magazines, and to reimagine the bottle of Absolut Vodka. Here you have some examples of the ads that were made by Kurt Vonnegut, for instance, or Kenny Sharf, who is also a famous, let's say, street artist in America. They even managed to commission this work to Andy Warhol. So you see an example of the painting made by Warhol, and he also reimagined the bottle. And as this marketer Michel Roy says, he made me believe he was using this product, so Absolut, as a perfume. So this was a strategy to change the existing positioning of the brand, to change the level of the brand, to make it a premium brand, And when this marketer was asked what was the recipe for the success, he said that it's quite hard to say what indeed it was, and it's hard to repeat these kind of success. He did not ever manage to repeat this success of Absolut vodka. However, the results were quite impressive, and up to now, the brand remains to be a premium brand. And indeed, until now, they also invest in art collaborations. So here is an example of a design of a bottle of a limited edition created by Alena Akhmadulina. And I hope that this case illustrates you that creativity and well-thought decision-making are matching each other in let's say game-changing marketing results. So those both aspects or skills of marketing, creative thinking, and well, let's say critical thinking, they're all important to achieve outstanding results. And by the way, more and more brands nowadays, they try to build their marketing communications and integrate art into their marketing communications, into maybe packaging design. They try to collaborate with various art institutions. So this strategy is dating back to a very long time already, but it is still practiced and more practiced by global brands nowadays. Let's talk a little bit more about the marketing profession. So come back a little bit to the history and cover some basic ideas. So when we talk about marketers, what do they do, right? So it all started with the concept of the marketing mix, which is dominating up until now the marketing thought. So the first concept of the marketing mix appeared in 1950s, and it emphasized the functions. So the functional dimension of marketers. It emphasized, if I'm not mistaken, it contained 12 various functions. So basically it was very descriptive of what marketers do. So they, for instance, care about product features, they care about displays, they care about advertising, they do some fact-finding and analysis. So this was the understanding, very descriptive understanding of what marketers should do, basically in the beginning of the marketing profession. Very descriptive. And later, about a decade later, the current concept of the 4 Ps concept appeared. I'm sure that you know the 4 Ps already, right?
Product, place, price, and I don't remember the fourth one.
Promotion.
Promotion.
Yes, right. So there are different variations of the marketing mix, but the core one, the starting point, was the one that you have mentioned. It was created in 1960s, and the idea was to focus more not only on defining the function, but on pointing out to the managerial importance of the marketing profession. So how marketers should be involved in decision making rather than simply fulfilling some functions. Later, some new understanding appeared. They are resembling what we have already discussed. But again, I would like to point out that the understanding came that marketing should not only be applied to consumer companies, but should be used for a diverse range of organizations. For example, political parties, or some associations, or I don't know, some NGOs, right? And so on. So also for public institutions, right? So not only consumer companies. Can you hear me? Because I saw a notification of poor connection.
Yes, everything's good.
Okay, yes, so not only focusing on consumer companies, but focusing on a diverse range of organizations. And again, thinking about your marketing plan, I would like to point your attention that you may take any organization, right? For instance, a horse riding club, right? Or some association that you would like to work on. So don't only take consumer companies, but use the whole variety of options. Okay, we do not have that much time left. We only have 5 minutes, and I have a lot of slides more for you, but let's finish with this idea. So we have said that we should focus on retaining consumers, we should focus on creating long-term relationships. Now it's more called like customer centricity, right? So companies are becoming more customer centric, and also the CEOs of top brands, they become customer centric, and they become focused on some marketing concepts such as customer needs, customer care, creating loyalty, and so on. And here I have some examples of citations of either current or former CEOs and top managers of various companies who are pointing out the importance of customer centricity. Obviously, some brands such as Airbnb, they are indeed focusing on customers. The very essence of their services are to deliver a certain experience, right? Intangible experience to their customers. But even such global global top managers such as Jeff Bezos, they always say that customers should come first. First, think about the customer, right? This idea that you think about the needs, the pains, the wishes of the customer. And another very popular word in marketing is insights, right? You try to learn some insights, to find some information about your customers. So not only what they're doing, but why they're doing, what motivates them to do that. And you're trying to address it, to use it in product creation, in distribution, in communications, and so on. So always put the customer first. And for instance, Jeff Bezos is famous for leaving, so to demonstrate the importance of customers and leaving one vacant chair at board meetings empty. So leaving it vacant, meaning that, well, here at our board meetings, the customers should play an important role, and we should listen to their voice and not forget about them. So, and yet, final example that I have here from Tesla, from Elon Musk, is a situation of how much CEOs are engaged with communication with the customers, with the understanding their needs. So here is an example of a situation when one of the customers was not satisfied with the situation that clients leave their cars at the charging stations for longer than the charging procedure actually. So, and the CEO reacted immediately thanks to social media, right? And only in, imagine, 6 days after this situation, after this communication on social media, Tesla introduced this new policy to charge an additional fee to people who used, well, the charging stations for parking rather than only recharging the batteries. So an example of how easy the communication is nowadays thanks to social media, and how much the top management of global brands are focused on the customer needs. So I think that we will stop for now. Although I have prepared more examples for you today, but we will cover them next time. So thank you for the first meeting today. I hope that I have tried to inspire you on some creative and well thought work in this course. If you have any questions, please ask them or write me in the chat. I'm also available via emails. And see you next week.
Where can we find your presentations?
I will upload it to MS Teams today.
Okay, thank you. And recordings will be also in MS Teams, yeah?
Yes, I think they should be available automatically.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for the lecture. Goodbye.
Thank you.
Have a nice day.
Thank you. Goodbye.